The desire to change. It often comes with great expectations. Starting tomorrow, I have to stop completely, or once I intend to succeed, immediately. But in reality, recovery is not an on-off button, which can be pressed once, keep the problem instantly gone. Just imagine. It's like going up the mountain. There's a steep incline, there's a flat road that makes me relieved. Sometimes there are derivatives that make you slip. This ride is not straight up, but full of turns. Sometimes you feel strong and confident, but the other day, old urges come again and frustrate. It's natural. The important thing is, how do you deal with this journey? If you are aware that the rise and fall is part of the process, you won't give up. You will be better prepared for the challenge and not feel alone in this struggle. So, instead of thinking of recovery as an instant change, try to look at this as a long adventure. Who will teach you many things. There are difficult moments, but there are also small wins which make the journey. This means, importantly, keep stepping. Okay, so now we understand that recovery is a journey, not magic. But what exactly is the process? Will I wake up tomorrow morning, keep suddenly free of old habits? No. Recovery is like a level in the game. There are stages that must be passed. Sometimes you're stuck on one level, sometimes right fast. But there are also times where you have to repeat from the beginning. Well, there is one model that can help us understand this pattern of change. The trans-theoretical change model. Don't get dizzy with the name. This is just a guide. This model divides the recovery process into 6 stages, starting from not realizing there is a problem until eventually you can be consistent with the changes. And the good news, this is not a straight line. So, if you take one step back, it doesn't mean you failed. It's part of the journey. We will explain one by one. But the important thing is now, remember this. You don't have to be perfect. Importantly, keep moving forward. So you could say that this first phase, don't feel nothing wrong. Here, one usually still casually. Feel this habit is not a big deal. It could be you or someone else who's on this stage. Not yet thinking about changing, because it felt like everything was still under control. Just try to imagine this. You're eating snacks every night while watching movie. Tasty, comfortable, and no problems, until all of a sudden, your favorite pants start to narrow. Well, before realizing about the pants, you're in the pre-contemplation phase. Haven't realized there's an impact. The same applies to the habit of watching pornography. At first, it might just be entertainment, an escape from stress, or just a habit without much thought. Until finally, comes a little moment that makes think, oh, why am I becoming like this more often? Or, why am I starting to feel strange about myself? Usually, at this stage, people tend to defend themselves. Ah, everyone's watching too. Just relax. Or, I can quit anytime, anyway. Even though, if you think about it more deeply, there is something wrong. It's just still ignored. In short, this is the stage where you don't want to change. Or not even aware yet, if anything needs to change. And it's natural. Because every trip always starts from one point. Well, at this stage, warning lights start to turn on. You start to realize if this habit has a negative effect, but still think, either want to change or keep going. For example, you've been watching, keep appearing bad feelings, guilt, anxious, or feeling that something is wrong. Maybe you start to realize if this habit makes it harder for you to focus, easy to get addicted, or even affect relationships with others. There was a moment where you told yourself, like, I'm gonna have to start reducing it, but at the same time, there's another voice that says, but you know it's delicious, easy, and does not harm anyone. So this is the dilemma at the stage of contemplation. You start to realize there's a problem, but still hesitant to actually act. Usually in this phase, people start looking for information. Read the article, watching a motivational video, or even chat with people who have already stopped. But to actually take the first step, still need a push. Importantly, at this stage is, don't rush to blame yourself. You're starting to think about changing, and that's already a big step. Okay, now that you're starting to realize if this habit has a negative impact and have started thinking about changing. But the thing is, how do we do that? Well, at this stage, you start strategizing. Change is not just an intention. Imagine, like we want to travel to a new place. You can't just leave without preparation, right? Must at least know the purpose, transportation, and what items need to bring. Same thing with recovery. You need a clear plan. At this stage, you start to recognize the triggers. When and why are you usually compelled to watch? Is it stressful? Bored? Lonely? Continue. You're looking for a healthier alternative to that? If you usually watch movies when you're bored, try switching with light exercise or reading a book. If the urge arises when alone, find activities that keep you busy, or more often interact with others. If stress is the trigger, start mindfulness practice, meditation or journaling. The point is, you start to solidify the intention and prepare concrete steps. Maybe you start thinking to block certain sites or join a community who can support your journey. Obviously, you're not just thinking, but start ready for action. This is it, the awaited moment. After all the thinking, upset, and devise a plan, now it's time to act. At this stage, you start taking real steps to change. You can start blocking certain sites, uninstall the application that is the trigger, or set the time so that there are no empty moments. That makes you tempted. Maybe you can talk to someone who can support you, or even join the recovery community. But remember, the action is not just a break from old habits, but also about building new, healthier habits. Because if you just stop, but not fill that void with something positive, yes, most likely I will come back again. So, you can try some of these strategies. The first one, sports. Not just make the body healthy, but it also helps reduce stress and improve mood. The second, meditation or journaling, can help you be more aware of your emotions and triggers. The third one, find a new hobby. Playing music to learn new skills, or do something that keeps you busy and productive. The fourth, build a healthy routine. Sleep enough, eat healthy, and set a time so that there is not much free time to overthink. But there's one thing you need to know. This phase of action is not always smooth. Sometimes there are days when you feel strong, but there are also days when temptation feels so heavy, and it's natural. Importantly, every time you fall, don't give up. Keep rising, keep going. You've started a big step, and it's been a victory. Congratulations, you've made it through the action stage. And now the challenge is, how to make this change survive in the long run. Well, it's like a sport. If you've managed to lose weight or build muscle, doesn't mean you can go straight back to old habits, right? Same thing with recovery. You have to keep the lifestyle that you have built. At this stage, the focus is consistency. Temptation may still be there, but you know how to deal with it better. Here are some things that can help you stay on the right track. The first one, stay aware of the trigger. Don't let your guard down. If there is a situation that makes you tempted, immediately prepare a strategy to avoid it. Second, reinforce positive habits. If during this time the sport, meditation, journaling, or the new hobby is already helping, keep going, don't lose it. Third one, don't feel too confident. Sometimes, after all this time succeeding, we feel like we're fully healed and starting to lose. Be careful, don't let old habits come back again. The fourth, build a support system. Have a friend to talk to, or a community that can support your journey. So important, don't walk alone. And most importantly, celebrate your progress. Doesn't mean it has to be a massive party, but acknowledge each accomplishment. For example, if you've been over a month, manage to keep the change. Give appreciation to yourself. Maintenance is not about being perfect. It's about staying sober and being up to the challenge. Keep moving forward. Don't stop. Okay, let's face reality. Relapses can happen. And if that were to happen, you didn't fail. This is not a game where once it falls, directly game over. It's more like riding a bike. If it falls, yes, get up again and continue cycling. That relapse can happen for a variety of reasons. You're probably under a lot of stress, feel lonely, or without realizing it, old habits emerge unplanned. It matters not how many times you fall, but how quickly you rise again. So, if you have a relapse, don't drown in guilt, then to drag on in regret. Try to do this. First, evaluate what happened. What the trigger is. Are you exhausted, stress, or too much free time with no activity? Second, improve your recovery strategy. There may be new habits that aren't strong enough, or there's a trigger that you're not aware of. Third one, don't use relapse as an excuse to give up. Sometimes we think, failed already, might as well go back to old habits. Don't, just think of it this, as a reminder that you are still learning. The fourth, get back on track more wisely. Every time you fall and get up again, you understand how to face challenges. This is not setback, but it is precisely the opportunity to become stronger. Well, the point is, relapse is part of the journey, not the end of everything. As long as you stand up and try hard, you stay on the right track. If there's one thing that matters most in this recovery journey, it's being nice to yourself. Seriously, don't be your own biggest enemy. That recovery is not about a 100% faultless perfect. It's not about getting to the finish line. It's about growing up, learn, and move on one step at a time. So if one day you feel trouble, don't rush to judge yourself. Don't say right away, "Oh, I am weak. I failed." No. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from today? What can I do better tomorrow? How can I still support myself? Every effort that you put in, no matter how small, that means don't underestimate your progress. If it's today, you can hold yourself back longer than yesterday. It was a victory. If you start to notice when you're tempted and were able to take precautionary measures, it was also a victory. And one more thing, don't walk alone. Recovery is easier if you have a support system, whether it's a friend, mentors, or communities that can help you keep your spirits up. In the end, this journey is not just about quitting bad habits, but about being the best version of yourself. So keep going, keep processing, and most importantly, keep being nice to yourself.